5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
What do you think, Marge? All I need is a title.
Welcome to the second of this three-part video series about the impeachment of President Donald Trump. The first video gave some background on the history of impeachment, its disjointed relationship with the nation's political structure, and it speculated on what might happen in the US House, the possible motivations behind the politicians there, and what might happen in the Senate once the articles of impeachment were passed. Well, those articles of impeachment have been passed, and a lot of what we speculated would happen is in fact happening. The portion of the DNC that resides in Congress is in fact imploding in on itself. And this is because the opinion polls, which have never been too favorable about this whole affair, are now positively in the trash bin over impeachment. After the complete kangaroo court shit show that was orchestrated by Adam Schiff and Jerry Nadler, the American people want no part of a process that is unfair, even to someone like Donald Trump, who is not the most popular guy to have inhabited the Oval Office. So the articles emerge from the Kangaroo Committee hearings, and they are approved by the Dem-led House. What happens next reveals the real motivations behind certain people. Now see, like what happened in the Clinton impeachment, House managers are supposed to convey the articles of impeachment over to the Senate, where the senators will sit as a jury, and the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court oversees everything. One problem, though. The Senate Majority Leader actually makes the rules for the trial, including who gets to be called as a witness. And that person is the Senator from Kentucky, Mitch McConnell. Once the Dems hit the McConnell roadblock, some weird stuff started to happen. First, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer started to complain about the process and whined that McConnell was not being objective. And at that point, McConnell practically laughed in his face.
Mitch McConnell has said he's proud to be a partial juror. He won't. We hold up. Every senator has to uphold an oath to render impartial justice, and he said he's proud to be partial. That says it all.
Senator, both your reaction and what was the last conversation you had with Senator Schumer?
Well, first on the impartiality issue, do you think Chuck Schumer is impartial? Do you think Elizabeth Warren is impartial?
No.
Bernie Sanders is impartial? So let's quit the charade. This is a political exercise.
Next, the Dems have not yet delivered the articles of impeachment over to the Senate, so that the trial can even get started. Now, at this point, it is possible that the delay is being caused by the Christmas holiday, but the delay was noticed and raised some hackles in the Senate, especially after some of the Dems also started complaining about the GOP-led process. McConnell had a response for that, too.
Some House Democrats imply they're withholding the articles for some kind of leverage so they can dictate the Senate process to senators. I admit, I'm not sure what leverage there is in refraining from sending us something we do not want.
Finally, one of the Democrat legal experts has said that President Trump has not actually been impeached until the articles of impeachment reached the U.S. Senate, which is an asinine statement. Impeachment is a two-step process. The U.S. House actually impeaches the person, and the Senate holds the trial. Once the articles of impeachment are approved, the person is impeached. I think all this has exposed the true motives of House Leader Nancy Pelosi, who has never really been a full-throated backer of impeachment.
And in March, Speaker Pelosi said this: impeachment is so divisive to the country that unless there is something so compelling and overwhelming and bipartisan, I don't think we should go down that path because it divides the country. End quote. By the Speaker's own standards, the standards she set, she's failed the country.
I think Pelosi was aware of a threat from the left wing of the Democrat Party, specifically from people such as AOC, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, and others. When given just enough of a pretense to go along with impeachment, Nancy did so. But these recent events seem to indicate that she never wanted to let things get to a trial in the Senate. Some people are suggesting that these articles of impeachment may be held in reserve into the Trump second term, which would be stupid.
In fact, Mr. President, this same House of Representatives has already indicated that they themselves may not be finished impeaching. The House Judiciary Committee told a federal court this very week that it will continue its impeachment investigation even after voting on these articles. And multiple Democratic members have already called publicly for more. If the Senate blesses this, if the nation accepts this, presidential impeachments may cease being a once-in-a-generation event and become a constant part of the political background noise. This extraordinary tool of last resort may become just another part of the arms race of polarization.
First off, that would be like punishing your dog 4 weeks after he crapped on your carpet. Second, the second term of a president is when the Dems might actually get something from him, considering that he does not have to please an electorate anymore. So why cut that short? Also, this does not take into consideration what happens if the GOP maintains control of the Senate after 2020. Finally, I think another tell here was that the House passed a bunch of stuff that could be seen as a number of victories for President Trump, which makes no sense. If you're wanting the guy to look bad, especially going into an election, you don't pass a bunch of stuff that makes him look good. To me, this is more proof that Nancy was never behind impeachment at all. It might be that at some point she will lay the whole thing at the feet of the squad and force them to take responsibility for it, while she tries to save the rest of the party. All of that being said, I think there is a good possibility that there is no trial in the Senate, because so many Democrats want to avoid an acquittal of President Trump. They have what they want right now, an impeached president going into an election year. However, the damage and the impact of the impeachment will be minimal, and if the economy keeps up as it is now, with record growth and low unemployment numbers, President Trump will be elected anyway, even over and above any yammering about impeachment.